dive in a little bit, but as a special guest, I'd love to bring up the co-founder, CTO of Steve Ellis, to give you a little bit of perspective over the journey that's got us to where we're at today.
Hey, thank you, Brian. Thanks everybody for having me. So excited to be here. I love hackathons. I love everything about them. Just the energy in the air, the creativity. You can just smell it in the air here. I also super psyched to be in Denver and for us to launch Chainlink Functions here. It's been a long time coming, and we thought what better place to launch it than at the best hackathon. So yeah, a background on Chainlink Functions. I started working on smart contracts in about 2014. And it was very obvious then, at that point, that to build any useful smart contracts, you would need oracles. And so we went through a long iterative process of trying first an Oracle service, then an open source Oracle, and eventually landed on a incentivized, decentralized Oracle network. So that's where we got to Chainlink, and in 2017, we launched the project, Chainlink. We built, in the Chainlink node, there was a single job type. It was called the direct request. And the direct request was a way for a contract to talk to a single Chainlink node. And the idea was at the time you could transparently on-chain do aggregation. To give you a picture, this was back in like 2017 or at this time. It was, there was no gas market. People were just paying 20 gwei for the sake of, we wanted miners to make a little money. We weren't really sure what was going to happen. So to have aggregation on chain was perfectly acceptable thing to do, and if anything, more transparent. And so you could send off a request, have a Chainlink node run through a series of Docker containers to process work, and then report the result back on chain. So for us, when we went to 2019, we went to mainnet. We had the launch, and at the time we said, how do we show this off? What is the way to do it? We built an application. We built a price feed off of it. And we launched ETHUSD at the time, three different Chainlink nodes validating. And fast forward to 2020, like summer of 2020, DeFi summer. Black Thursday has happened. Gas prices are through the roof, consistently at 200 gwei at least. And we're now struggling with on-chain validation. So at that point, we decided we need to build off-chain reporting. We moved this stuff off-chain. We recognized that users did not want to actually have to do their building the contract validation, the aggregation on-chain, or pay for those gas costs. So this is a big win for us to move that forward. But at the same time, as we built it, for me personally, it was always frustrating. Everyone's using. Well, not frustrating, but I love that the aggregators took off and they became super valuable for DeFi. They powered DeFi. We loved seeing that happen. But for me, it became our flagship product, but I was always a little frustrated because as a developer, it was not as flexible as something like the direct request. I wanted to be able to reach out to all kinds of APIs, pull anything on chain, not have to worry about aggregating back on chain. So we'd go to hackathons, we'd see everybody build with this direct request model, and yet nobody took that to production. The thing that was powering DeFi were these feeds. So fast forward again to 2022, we had an internal hackathon. Morgan, shout out to Morgan somewhere here, actually won the internal hackathon with the universal adapter, which kind of reimagined the pain point that most people at the hackathon had been facing, which is to ship that code to the actual node operators. And once you get past the OCR point, you get to giving them the JavaScript or giving them the code to execute. So we were really excited to get that. That was a catalyst that kicked off us reimagining. We could just sense the hunger for this better request model. Developers were really excited to have it in their hands. So we are excited to take it and get it out here. And in true hackathon style, we're trying to ship it early. It's not perfect. It's beta. So we want you to try it out. Give us your feedback. All of that. But with that, I'm going to hand it back to Brian to show you what this thing actually does.
I am having Steve here tell you that story is really special because this is a big milestone. Milestone for Web3, milestone for Chainlink. And there's only a founder that can tell you that impassioned story. So it's awesome. Thank you, Steve. So in a little bit, I'm also going to invite a friend, Alan Day, with Google to show what you can do with Chainlink functions and Web2 data. I ask right now for you guys, we're going to have you try this demo real quick while we're speaking. And what we're going to do is show you the power of Web2 data, Chainlink functions, and blockchain working together within real life behavior. So I think you'll see this is one of the first times this kind of thing has ever been done before. It's going to go to charity. It's going to be awesome. So stay tuned. So Web3 is a promise that we've all been talking about, and we all are here, but please, we believe this is a big opportunity. A couple of years ago, price data came to the blockchain, and DeFi emerged. DeFi is undeniable, DeFi is huge, DeFi is unstoppable. So we at Chainlink are thinking, if you can do that with just price data, what can you unlock? What can developers unlock when you have any data and all the data, the internet's data, come to the blockchain? That's going to happen through builders like you. You guys are going to be the revolutionaries that create the new use cases that power the next versions of Web3. We're here launching this at ETH Denver for a reason. Builders like yourselves are the ones that are forging the path forward. But you guys have been telling us over and over, there's a big limitation to Web3 still. We can get price data, we can get other data, but we still have this blocker. We can't deliver on some of these awesome use cases that we've been imagining because the rest of the data that we have is still untouchable. Data I'm talking about, public cloud, public APIs, private APIs, cloud services, Spotify data, Twilio data, you name it. Your backend services, public backend services, these are things that the internet takes for granted, but we still have this limitation of no access. This is what we're changing. What gets me very excited is there are 30,000 passionate developers building on Web3 today. But you guys still have this blocker, but you're still here. There are 30 million developers on the sideline in the Web2 space that have no idea how they can leverage their stack in the blockchain today. This together is how we're going to grow the ecosystem. This is how we massively expand the Web3 developer ecosystem. Now, I'm preaching to the choir. You guys have heard this. 80% of all of our hackathon developers worldwide try to use Web2 data using any API, exactly what Steve was talking about. We've seen this. We know the signal is undeniable. So it's time we do something about it. Any API has lots of pain points, lots of failures, but a lot of potential. And so what we are doing is we're building a new developer-first platform that removes all of those pain points for you. So what you have to do is just focus on what you're building, on the code, take out everything else, all the layers of infrastructure, coordination, decentralization, and embed that straight into the Chainlink network. You've been asking for it. Obviously, we've been listening. It's all about getting us to this point. So as you know, we launched Chainlink functions this week in beta. We're very excited. It is a serverless platform for Web3. This is Web3's serverless moment. And if you look back at what happened in the internet, when such a thing happened, innovation took off. And that's wildly exciting for us. Chainlink functions, as I said, is any data, any device, and any system on chain. So that's wildly extensible connectivity, customizable compute in your hands, done in a trust-minimized way, a runtime that you can leverage, and it's self-service. You can code, deploy, and start using in minutes. This is the most important piece. It runs on Chainlink's existing time-trusted network. So the same infrastructure that runs price feeds, VRF, keepers, the rest of what you take for granted, this is the same infrastructure that's powering functions. Battle-tested, decentralized, and blockchain agnostic is the vision. That's where we're headed. So it's still early, But the three things that you should take away is how it's powerfully simple is you can fetch any data, you can run any compute, and then you can return your value, your customer's value, your smart contractor's value, whatever you need onto chain. This is what we have today. You can imagine what we're excited about coming out with in the next 1 or 2 years. So we've been building with alpha users. We are building for startups, we're building for early stage, hackathon users, big brands, you name it. This is a platform for everyone. So we looked at some of the biggest players in Web 2, we looked at the most hungry developers in Web 3, and we've been building around you guys in alpha this week, taking that to beta. I'm excited to bring on Alan Day from Google. He's one of the alpha partners that's been building. I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Brian. Hey, everybody. Wow, it's really exciting to be here. This is very cool to see more hybrid Web 2, Web 3 applications. So I'm going to show you something today. I'm a developer relations engineer from Google Cloud on the Web 3 team. And I'm going to show you today a demo that we built in hackathon style. You saw the URL earlier, so if you haven't been there already, you should go visit. It's dogorcat.xyz. Some Google marketing platform product that's going to be showcased today is Google Analytics. So for those of you who aren't aware, that figure that Brian referenced earlier about the 30 million devs, many of them are using this as a go-to logging service. It's a software as a service that runs on Google servers, and it's used for generating general statistics and also tracking what users are doing on a website that you own for SEO purposes and optimization purposes for e-commerce. So figuring out like who visited a particular web page, where did they come from, how many things were in the shopping cart, did it get abandoned, etc. I'm also going to be showcasing a Google Cloud Platform product called BigQuery. This is one of our most amazing products, and it's essentially an enterprise data warehouse, very scalable. You query it with ANSI SQL, and we will. It's connected to Google Analytics. So Google Analytics exports data there. And I'll come back to that in a moment. Okay, so this is kind of the general flow. I'll get into a more detailed architecture diagram in a moment. But we basically have Google Analytics on that Doggercat website. It's being streamed into BigQuery, so there's about a second of latency there. And then Chainlink is pulling data out of BigQuery and writing it onto the blockchain. Now, as another note, this is out of scope for today, but we are also indexing Ethereum data back into BigQuery. So this is something we've been doing. This is a project I started about 5 years ago. It's running in near real time, and this means we could actually have some feedback loops of interaction between the web application and the blockchain. If you search for Google Cloud Ethereum data, you would find what I'm talking about. Go to town. Okay, here's the reference architecture for what we're showing today. Website has 2 buttons. Some of you saw it already. There's some tagging on the landing pages. One's a dog and one's a cat. So we keep track of where the user went. Goes to Google Analytics, which streams out to BigQuery. And then there's a Chainlink automation that's basically a cron job that tells this contract, hey, get the votes. And that calls the Chainlink function to pull the data from BigQuery over the Oracle network, bring the data back in, and then we're receiving the votes, so they're being injected into the contract and updating the state. And then once this is all over, we will declare a winner of the contest between who won, dogs or cats. And then we're going to give some money to charity. If it's more dogs or more cats, they'll receive, I understand it's $2,000. And if it's the other one gets, the lesser doesn't get $0, they get $1,000. So please vote for your favorite. Okay, here it is again. If you want to vote, please. Okay, good. Got a couple more scans. Thank you. I did this earlier. I wasn't sure how the Wi-Fi would be on a live demo, so it looked like this. You click one, and of course, I vote for cats. I'm a cat fan. Talk to me about cats later. I can do cat Q&A. Okay, so now let's take a look. We're going to jump out of here and go to live data, hopefully. Let's see. Reports, real time. And reports. Real time. Okay. So yeah, I see some of you are coming in, and you can see there's basically, I guess roaming, or I don't know exactly what that is, but a bunch of us are in Colorado on the Wi-Fi, obviously. And these are the dog votes, and then there's some cat votes in this tab over here. So yeah, it's all working, right? And then let me get back. Okay, so that was that. And then Where am I? Yeah. Okay, and then we can then take a look at the contract inspector. So this was linked on the page if you want to look at the data yourself, but here it is on Polygon Scan. This is the smart contract that we're engaging with. And if I reload, we can see with some latency, okay, so 37 cat votes have come in as of about a minute ago, and 52 dog votes. Go dogs. And the charity winner is not yet populated because the declare winner function hasn't been called. So cats, there's still time. We're still in the game. All right, so that's that. And here is a blog post that we published a couple of days ago. So it describes the use case. There's some gists of the code. The really fantastic thing about this, I was just blown away by how streamlined this was. It's about 50 lines of code, 48 of which are boilerplate. One line is the bearer token, so you can log into Google Analytics, because not anybody can look at that page, right? It's a permission page for the owner of the website, so there's a bearer token. The other one is a SQL query. Everything else is just like plumbing logic. So if you wanted to build something like this, you change the query, you change your auth, go to town. So yeah, pretty awesome how easy it was, and I'm gonna hand back to Bryan now. Thanks so much.
All right, guys, you get the idea. A lighthearted demo like that, using powerful technology inside of Chainlink's decentralized network, is going to unleash the developer community. It's up to you guys to show us what's possible. We have some ideas, but we're looking for you guys to inspire the rest of the community, inspire us, and really spark the next wave of Web3. Thank you so much.